Welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage. Today we're going to be having a look at Quant. This is going to be a lower time frame video. We do have a higher time frame macro video up above, so check that out if that's more what you're interested in. Give you good context about the moves we're going to be discussing within this video. Okay, so let's get into the charts and see what's going on. Okay, so I'm going to just focus in on this little bit that we have over here. Now, within our bullish case, what we are looking for is the potential that we could be looking for this as a C wave to the downside, looking to complete our 0.618, which would be really where we want this complete, is towards this $91. And what I'm looking for within this count is that potentially this move is incomplete to the downside. Now, what we would be looking for within the C wave is that potentially what we could still have is this is a diagonal where this becomes 1, 2, all of this becomes 3, 4. And what we could still be looking for is an ABC pattern to the downside. So that would be looking at this as A, B, and C. Now, our 0.618 over here has already been met, but what I'm looking for is the potential that we could still see continuation down here. Preferably, I would like to take this A wave low, but we'll have to see whether this actually happens because we have come down already to the 0.618. I'm just being mindful within the structure here. If we do see a turnaround and break back above this high point here, this could actually indicate that we actually completed this move over here and that we are looking to push to the upside from this point. Now, within this case, what we'd be arguing is that we still have a three-wave move to the downside looking to complete. Now, what we need to be careful off the back of this move is that if we actually fail to break back above this level here of this $144, potentially we could still look to extend to the downside in bigger five-wave structure. So we need to be careful of this idea that if we do form this as a diagonal and we don't actually move back above this 163, we could actually continue to see price look to break down. Now, we also need to be careful within this structure here that this could also have some other counts available where we count this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into here. This is a wave 2. And we could be starting a series of 1s and 2s here, in which case we look to break down directly. This is not my primary expectation, and what I'm thinking is likely here is that this diagonal is actually still looking to take place, where we're looking for this ABC down. Upon completion of this, there are a couple of counts that we talked about within our higher time frame count. If we do push above this 163, then potentially we could be in a triangle or that more bullish situation where we look for that bigger push to the upside. Alternatively, if we fail to break back above this, we could actually be looking for a bigger five-wave move to the downside. So we need to be careful of that. If we do start to extend out from this point here, we could be looking for a deeper move to the downside. So now looking in on this area over here, if we are arguing that this is an A, B, and a C to complete, what I'm looking for this last move is that potentially we could be looking at this as a diagonal pattern. So that's looking at this as 1, 2, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this is a fourth wave here, and effectively looking at this as a diagonal pattern to the downside here. Now, within this, what I would ideally like to see is one more push to the downside back into the zone of this 101 to this 99.95. So if we do see something like this, A, B, C, back into this bottom trend line, what I would then want to see for confirmation this is completed is a break back above this wave 4 area. So if we do see this complete down in 3 waves, A, B, C, and then we see a break back to the upside here, what we could actually be looking for is a completed move here, where this is a corrective structure. Now, within the bullish count here, what we would be saying is that potentially this is wave 1 and this is wave 2. So this would be looking at this move in this way, where this becomes our wave 1. We look at this as A, B, and C for this wave 2. And what we are looking for here is to hold this 9583. And what we want to do is also hold this level here of this 98.64. If we start to break down below this level, it becomes more likely we're going to see that continuation to the downside for that diagonal idea. So it's going to be key whether we actually maintain this 95.83. If we do maintain this level, what we could start to see is a five-wave move to the upside. Though what I would be cautious of is because the structure is so choppy, this 1-to-1 is actually here at this $122.86. What we could see is this could just be a corrective move. If we fail to break above this level, then potentially we could see continuation to the downside still in that corrective pattern. Alternatively, if we do start to push to the upside here, what I want to see for wave 3 is actually this 138.83 as a target for this wave 3. Then we'd want to see a 3-wave move to the downside and then another 5-wave move to the upside here towards this 149.66 to this 142.85 level. as our fifth wave target. Moving up into that zone would then align with this idea that we could have a bigger A, B, and a C pattern, in which case we'd be looking for 170. If we're looking for an impasse, our target would be this 221. So that's what this move is looking for here. I don't have a lot of confidence in the structure currently. What I need to see is a break back above this high, and then we need to hit this 1618 for more confidence. I think it's more likely at the moment that we potentially still have one more low to come here, and we are going to look to invalidate this. But for as long as we actually hold this level, we're going to be on the lookout for this possibility of a reversal. So like I said, I do think that we could potentially be looking to push down here one more time for this C wave. Now, if we do actually complete this move to the downside here as that 5-wave idea, this yellow 5-wave structure, what I'll be looking out for is the potential that within this, what we could actually form is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So if we do complete this yellow count, we need to get back above this 10108 first for a bit more confirmation. Want to see price moving back above these levels, and then finally invalidating this bearish count to the downside, because as long as we actually stay below this line here, I will still be thinking that we do have some potential to come down one more time and at least sweep this low here towards this 95.64. Now, if we do start to break down in this way, we need to be very careful, because if I just throw a fib on from this level over here into this high, and we change this onto the 1618, if we do start to break down past this 85.02, this would align with the idea that this move could actually start extending from here, where this becomes 1, 2, 3, we'd get an additional fourth and a fifth. Then we'd have to count this as a potential 1, 2 here. This would all become 3, 4, 5, and then so on and so forth, making this move actually extend to the downside, and would mean that potentially we are going to be going lower down into our bullish support zone if we are looking at this as a bigger ABC, where we are looking for this 0.618 area. Alternatively, a move lower down here towards this 1-to-1 would still be on the cards towards this 64.87. So make sure you watch that macro video. We go over these ideas and what we would be looking for within this structure. Okay, having a look at the daily CPR here, what we can see is that we are currently below the central line, sitting between this 10237 and this level here of this 102.193. If we do continue to reject off of these, potentially we could look to retest this R1, which is sitting here at this 100.98. We have this 99.49, we have 98.18, and this 96.75 as potential downside targets for today. If we do look for that upside potential here, what we do have as this area here of this 103.72, and then this would be what we'd be looking at if we manage to get back above these lines. If we fail to break back above these, I would be looking more towards those downside targets. And then if we do move up here, we have this 105.09, we have this 106.55, and this 107.89 as potential targets for today. Now, if we flip this over onto the weekly pivot points, what we can see here is that we are currently below these weekly pivot points, the central lines here. Now, if we are looking at this move, if it does come back to the upside, I will be looking at the potential. These could be resistance 103.95, 105.51, and this 107.03 level. Particularly this one could be quite interesting, as in coming back up into some of these highs here, as well as this one if we do look to swing fail. If we do look to the downside, what we do have as potential targets for as long as we actually remain below these is this area here of this 9883, this 9514, and we do have this level down here towards this 88.5 area. So going to be keeping an eye on this. If we do start to extend out, potentially some of those targets could be interacted with. Now, if we are looking at that possibility of a reversal to the upside here, then we do have this potential to see interaction with this S1 line here at this 109.05. If we manage to get back above these central lines, the 115.73 and this 119.35 as possible upside targets. Now, switching this over onto the monthly, what we can see here is that we have a very tight spread on these monthly CPR lines. So we are currently also below these. If we do look to move back to the upside, I would be interested to see how we react around this 107.79. We do have this big zone over here that if we do see a move back up into this and we reject, this could actually align with coming back up here and then still looking to move down in that alternate count that we're talking about, of that 5-wave move looking to extend to the downside. The downside targets for this month, if we stay below this, is this 9568. we have this 83.47 and this area here of the 7132. Now price doesn't need to move into these levels, but potentially we can see price pivot around these zones. Now if we do look to reverse back to the upside, get back above this zone here, our upside targets for this month would be this 119.94. we have this 132.14 and this 144.14 as potential upside targets for this month. So this would align more with that idea where we're actually going to see price look to reverse to the upside here and look to interact with some of these higher zones again. So going to have to keep an eye on this. If we do continue to hold that support zone that we talked about in the bullish case where this becomes 1-2, then potentially we could look to interact with some of these targets. If we start to lose this level, then it becomes more likely we're going to see an interaction lower down here with this 9569 or this level here of this 8340. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out, it is free to join. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.